All this week, reporter Cheryll Jones has been looking at the renewed gun control issue and the gun's relationship to American history, recreation, private citizens, criminals, and their victims. Tonight, she goes behind bars to find out how the criminals who use guns feel about gun control in Part 4 of her Project 7 report.
Ida Younger is the great-grandniece of Cole Younger, of the infamous Younger brothers in Jesse James days. But unlike her ancestors, she's on the right side of the law as Denver County Court Marshal. And after 32 years in law enforcement, she's been in charge of her share of lawbreakers and their guns.
Most of the prisoners that I've talked to have always tell me that they hope that we get a real strict gun law, because when the honest people are not going to have their guns, they're going to have to give them up, and the dishonest people are going to have them. They won't get shot when they go break in somebody's home.
One inmate who served 5 years for aggravated robbery and assault with a deadly weapon says he thinks guns are too easy to get.
If there was a gun law, a tighter gun law, to where it'd be harder to get guns, then I wouldn't have to carry a gun, merely for the fact that I wouldn't worry about somebody else has a gun, somebody else is going to kill me. My partner was killed, and they arrested my brother on it.
But another inmate whose arrests involve aggravated robberies, suspicion of murder, and concealed weapons charges says he believes most guns used in crime are stolen or illegal, and that laws won't stop the criminals he knows.
You know that you're going to worry about the laws, You're just going to have to do what you have to do for the moment. You can't sit there and think about, well, geez, I'm doing the wrong thing right now. If I pull a trigger or something, I'm sure that doesn't enter your mind. Who cares about the law at the time? That's one thing you're not worried about. You're just worried about yourself and getting what you want and getting the job done.
And he adds, the black market is the criminal's favorite way to buy a gun. Those guns are cheaper, and there are no records or names on them. Here in the Denver area, some of the hot guns turn up at flea markets. Others are sold less conspicuously on the street. This inmate says the gun black market can never be eliminated.
There's always going to be guns around. I could walk out of here right now and probably within a half hour buy a gun somewhere. There's guns. I bought guns on the street that were probably made in 1940, 1950, and I bought it on the street, and I'm sure that gun's probably touched 20 hands, or 50 even. Who knows how many times that gun's been sold? Some of the companies that I bought guns from aren't even in business. They haven't been in business for years, and that gun's hot on the street. And it's been hot on me for 15 years. And I keep it a couple months, maybe I turn it over. And it just keeps going around in circles, Who knows how many times it's been used.
And this inmate, who's accused of 17 robberies with guns, says all his guns were black market buys, and that guns are powerful tools for criminals.
If I'm going to go rob somebody, I'm going to put him into a temporary shock to get him under control.
And a gun helps you do that.
And a gun helps you, it stimulates it, it's boom. There's a lot of times I just used a plastic gun. It looked like a real gun and a knife.
And it worked.
And it worked.
But he says if guns were not available,
it'd be more dangerous. Because if you couldn't buy a gun, there would be other means of forcing people to do what you wanted to do.
No.
You can use explosives. You see them a lot today, where people go up and say, well, I got a bomb, give me your money or else I'll set it off.
With violence dramatically increasing, the sentiment among law enforcement officials and citizens is getting stronger for someone to do something. Many believe penalties need to be more severe for people committing crimes by making the price of crime so high that no one will want to buy it.
I'm not in favor of laws that attempt to restrict the rights of a law-abiding citizen from owning one gun or 1,000 if he wants them. But I am in favor of the people that misuse firearms. I don't care if you hang them. Just as soon as you figure out a way to get the victim up out of the grave, why then I'll change my idea about the fella that put him there.
So far, no one has figured out how to bring victims back from their graves, but some believe changes in our judicial system may keep fewer of them from going there. Tomorrow night, we'll find out what Colorado is doing to clamp down on criminals using guns and the constitutional rights involved in changing our gun laws. Cheryl Jones with the Project 7 report.